Okay, so this video is about Bracken, which is a horse that I have been training through Clear Equestrian. He's been training since about November, and these pictures were probably taken about January to February time. So first of all, we started off with getting him used to the bridle and the saddle on his back. Please note that he's got a head collar over the top of his bridle. I really hate people lunging from the bit, especially when the horse is a youngster, because he won't like the bit pressure. So lunging from the side of the head collar is the most important bit. It's really important as well to have someone holding your youngster for you, especially like with Bracken. He was very fidgety, so I needed someone to just hold his head while I was girthing him up, and also I tie the stirrups together underneath his stomach just so that the stirrups do not bang, as I like to double lunge. So double lunging essentially is having the two lunge lines either side attached to either side of the head collar, and then they go through the stirrups. What this means is that instead of single lunging, the horse actually bends the whole way through its back. It's also much better to be able to get a trot and a canter, but especially a canter, because the horse's head needs to be bent to the inside slightly, and this is just setting you up much better for the future when you are lunging your youngster, and then when you're riding your youngster as well. You want him to get on the correct canter lead. Okay, so first of all, he didn't have much stamina to start off with, and he was quite weak. He's only about 14 hands. And as he was just under 4 in these pictures, about 3.5, and as he was quite weak and hadn't done any work all his life, I wanted to make sure that we did regular walking and trotting lunging. I rarely did canter. Okay, so now we move on to long lining. The purpose of long lining is to make sure that the horse understands the left and right pressure to turn and stop him. It also sets yourself up so that the horse is very sensitive when you're riding him. You know how well the horse's brakes are, and you also know how well his steering is before you actually go on top of him. Long lining can also be used out on roads or out on tracks. This makes the horse go in front of the rider or in front of the person on the ground, which also I have found increases their confidence. They have to combat any issues before you do. So if they're scared or spooky, it means that they have to go in front of you and combat anything by themselves. Obviously there is a bit of frustration sometimes. This picture just shows that I'm asking him to turn left and he's resisting it. So some youngsters will do this. Okay, so the next set of pictures are going to be when I first started riding Bracken. So you have to bear in mind that there weren't any pictures taken of me laying over his back or sitting on him, so I had already done this preparation. I had already laid on his back and made sure that I got off when he stood, and then I progressed to sitting on his back. So from sitting on his back, you need to make sure that you can put both feet safely into the stirrups. Once I knew that I could do this, I decided that I was going to start getting walked round on him. Walking round for a youngster can sometimes be really hard and strenuous. They find it hard to understand what's going on and understand that they can walk with some weight on top of them. What's also really important to remember is to have very slack rein contact. You really want to make sure that the horse is as sensitive as possible when you start riding it full rein. So here it shows I am using slight pressure, but you can see how long my reins are. I'm just encouraging him to move away from his leader. And also again in this picture, it's really important to keep yourself calm when you're riding a youngster. Bracken had obviously been scared in this picture by something, so I'm just sitting back, making sure I'm breathing, and only a very gentle pressure just to tell him to slow down. It's really important to use lots of praise when a horse first starts to get ridden, so here I'm just praising him on the neck for doing something good. It must be a positive experience, or else they won't want to do it in future life. Okay, so the next set of pictures are again of Bracken being ridden. So it's really important that there's a lot of riding that goes into your work with a youngster. You want to be able to progress the riding to having a nice long rein, or I prefer using a lunge rein, and be able to ride as well. So this is almost half independence. I did start off for quite a few sessions, probably about 3 hours, just being able to be walked around on his back. Here I'm depicted trying to do a trot on him. So I'd already walked him round beforehand with a leader by my side. Then I asked the leaders to step away and lunge me. After being lunged on a circle, I knew I could walk and trot. So then I decided to take the lunge line off, and I'm not encouraging anyone to do so if they are not experienced, but I felt comfortable enough to be able to let go of that long line and be able to ride by myself in walk and in trot. But you have to remember that this is quite a few months on from where we first started, so he was used to someone riding on him. Okay, so these last set of pictures is him hacking out. So again you can see that I've got someone holding me on a lunge line. It's important to know that even though these pictures were probably about 4 to 5 months he'd been ridden for, because I was out hacking, I didn't want to take any unnecessary precautions. So I wanted to make sure that I was safe. I didn't want to just be off lead rein completely, as he may have jumped at something or he may have bolted with me, so I really wanted to make sure I was safe. I also did start by walking him along the roads, and then I would mount him on the bridle tracks, but again make sure that you're safe. So this last picture just shows how the progress of a youngster can be, that on the bridle tracks I was now off lead rein. Hope you've enjoyed watching this. Please subscribe to me on Rehome My Horse. Also remember to check out our website at crystalclearequestrian.webs.com. There's useful information on there. We provide training and we also provide riding lessons.